Yesterday, the Federal Reserve held interest rates steady for the fourth consecutive meeting. The federal funds rate stays at 3.5 to 3.75%. That's the headline. But here's what the headline doesn't tell you. While the Fed held, high-yield savings accounts are still paying up to 5% APY. That's more than 13 times the national average savings rate of 0.38%. And according to the Fed's own projections, this window may not last. A rate hike could come as early as October. So the question isn't whether you should be earning compound interest. The question is whether you're taking advantage of the best guaranteed compounding environment we've seen in over a decade, before it closes. I'm James, and this is Wealth Unlocked. Today we're talking about the 5% window. What it means for your money, how compound interest works at these rates, and why the difference between 5% and 0.38% isn't just a number, it's the difference between building real wealth and watching inflation eat your savings alive. Let's start with where we are right now. June 2026. The Federal Open Market Committee met yesterday under new Chairman Kevin Warsh and voted unanimously to hold rates at 3.5 to 3.75%. The statement was dramatically shorter than previous ones. No more language about future cuts. Instead, the dot plot, the Fed's own rate projections, shifted upward. The median estimate now shows rates at 3.8% by year-end, implying at least one hike. 9 of 19 officials see at least one increase. The market now expects a hike as early as October. What does this mean for you? It means the high-yield savings account rates we're seeing right now, Vero at 5%, Perbank at 4.4%, Axos at 4.21%, these are not permanent. When the Fed eventually cuts rates, HYSA rates will follow. The 5% window is open today. It may not be open next year. Now let's talk about what 5% compounding actually does. The rule of 72 is a simple mental shortcut. Divide 72 by your annual return, and you get the number of years it takes your money to double. At 5%, 72 divided by 5 is 14.4 years. Your money doubles every 14 years. At the national average savings rate of 0.38%, 72 divided by 0.38 is 189 years. Your money doubles every 189 years. That's not a typo. The difference between doubling in 14 years and doubling in 189 years is the difference between compound interest working for you and compound interest being a rounding error. Let me put real numbers on this. Say you have $10,000 sitting in a typical big bank checking account earning basically nothing. You move it to a high-yield savings account earning 5% APY, compounded daily. After 1 year, you have $10,512. After 5 years, you have $12,763. After 10 years, you have $16,289. You didn't add a single dollar beyond the original $10,000. The compounding did all the work. Now compare that to leaving the same $10,000 in a national average savings account at 0.38%. After 1 year, you have $10,038. After 5 years, you have $10,192. After 10 years, you have $10,387. The difference after 10 years is $5,902. On the same $10,000. Same starting point. Same time horizon. The only difference is which account you chose. $5,902. That's a vacation. That's a car repair fund. That's 3 months of groceries. And it's money you earned by doing nothing except moving. Your savings to an account that actually pays interest. But here's where it gets even more interesting. The compounding effect accelerates over time. The first year at 5%, you earn about $512 on $10,000. The 5th year, you earn about $647. The 10th year, you earn about $826. Each year, the interest grows because the base grows. That's the exponential curve. And the longer you stay in, the steeper that curve gets. Now let's look at what happens when you add regular contributions. Say you move $10,000 into a 5% HYSA and add $200 every month. After 1 year, you've contributed $12,400 total, but your balance is $12,961. That's $561 in interest. After 5 years, you've contributed $22,000, but your balance is $26,331. Over $4,300 in interest. After 10 years, you've contributed $34,000, but your balance is $43,261. Over $9,000 in interest. That's the power of consistent contributions combined with compound interest. Now, I want to address the elephant in the room. 5% on a savings account is great. But inflation is running at 4.2%. So your real return, what you actually earn after inflation, is about 0.8%. That's not nothing, but it's not wealth-building territory either. So why am I making such a big deal about this? Because the alternative is worse. The national average savings rate of 0.38% means you're losing nearly 4% of your purchasing power every year. A 5% HYSA at least keeps you roughly even with inflation. And more importantly, it builds the habit. The discipline of moving your money to where it earns something, of watching your balance grow every month, of understanding that compound interest is real and it works, that habit is worth more than any single rate differential. The behavioral trap is the real enemy here. Most people don't have their money in a 0.38% account because they made a conscious decision. They have it there because they never moved it. Inertia. The big bank they opened in college. The checking account their paycheck goes into. They never stop to ask, is my money earning anything? And the answer, for most people, is no. The FDIC's national rate data shows the average savings account pays 0.38%. The average interest checking account pays 0.07%. That's not a rounding error. That's a rounding error of a rounding error. Think about what that means for a typical household. The average American household has about $8,000 in transaction accounts, checking and basic savings. At 0.07%, that $8,000 earns $5.60 per year. At 5%, it earns $400 per year. The difference is $394.40. For doing absolutely nothing except moving the money. That's a month of internet and streaming. That's a nice dinner out every month for a year. That's real money. So what should you do? 3 steps. First, open a high-yield savings account today. Vero is offering 5% APY on balances up to $5,000. PBank offers 4.4% with no minimum balance. Axos offers up to 4.21%. These are all FDIC insured up to $250,000 per account. And since 2024, IRAs have a separate $250,000 FDIC limit at the same bank. Your money is safe. Second, set up automatic monthly deposits. Even $200 a month into a 5% HYSA grows to over $43,000 in 10 years. That's $34,000 of your own money and over $9,000 in interest. The automation is what makes it work. You don't have to remember. You don't have to decide every month. You set it once and compound interest does the rest. Third, understand that this window is temporary. The Fed's dot plot shows a median rate of 3.8% by year end. If a hike comes in October, HYSA rates will adjust upward slightly in the short term. But the long-term trend is downward. The Fed's long-run funds rate projection is 3.1%. When rates eventually come down, your HYSA yield will follow. Lock in the 5% while you can. And if rates drop, consider a CD to lock in current yields for longer terms. 12-month CDS are currently at 1.65% nationally, but you can find them higher at online banks. The bottom line is this. Compound interest is the most powerful force in personal finance. But it requires 2 things to work: a positive rate of return and time. You can't manufacture time. You can only start. But you can absolutely choose where your money earns its return. Right now, in June 2026, you have a rare opportunity to earn 5% on your savings with 0 risk. That window will close. The question is whether you walk through it while it's open. I'm James, and this has been Wealth Unlocked. The 5% window. Don't let it close on your money. If you found this useful, share it with someone who still has their savings in a big bank checking account. They'll thank you later. And as always, this is educational content, not financial advice. Know your numbers, know your options, and make the choice that's right for you.